One of the first movies ever made about boxing, Rocky, set the tone of masculinity in the sport for many years to come. In this video essay, I will not be debating whether or not Rocky was a good or bad movie. I am more interested in addressing the way Sylvester Stallone portrays masculinity in a movie on a stereotypically masculine sport. Let's get started. Many of the men in Rocky can be interpreted as real men. This is because they each display many different aspects of stereotypical masculinity. Likability. For many men, there are expectations put on them to be popular and well liked. Rocky is very popular with the people of Philadelphia. He knows everybody around town. Everyone wants him to win his fights. In fact, until he fights with Apollo, there isn't anyone in the film that dislikes him. Apollo wants everyone to like him so much all of the time. He spends time donating money and gifts for his public image for the fight instead of focusing on his training. He also puts being American at his forefront to help him get people on his side before and during the fight. Ladies' man. A man must be the center of attention of every woman in his life. Although Adrian initially shows disinterest in, and even some aversion to, Rocky, he eventually wins her over. He is also later approached by a few women during his training that beg him for autographs. Provider. Until World War II, men were seen as the sole breadwinner of their families. They were supposed to financially support the endeavors of the household. If they can't afford a nice house and be able to provide for their family, they are seen as lesser than those who can. Rocky seems to be very self-conscious about not having a nice enough house for other people, even though no one has criticized his apartment in the movie. Throughout the film, he defends himself to Adrian and Mickey, the only two people to step foot into his house in the movie. He even asks Adrian if she doesn't want to be with him because his room just isn't good enough for her. Physical strength. Stemming from before even the first agricultural revolution, there is a belief that men are supposedly stronger than women. They did the hunting for their families and therefore had to be stronger. Although being strong is not important to survival today, men believe that they are expected to be fit. Both Rocky and Apollo have proved their physical strength because of their careers. They are professional athletes. On top of that, whomever is the superior athlete, whether during training or a match, is seen as the superior man in the movie. When a stronger, younger athlete gets Rocky's locker, Rocky feels like less of a person since he is no longer at the top of his gym. Aggressiveness and violence. Similar to being physically fit, it is expected of men to exhibit their strength. By showing others how strong they are, it establishes their dominance. Obviously, in a movie about boxing, there is bound to be violence, but the way Rocky conducts himself in everyday life is also unnecessarily aggressive. This is partly due to the fact that he did what he had to do to survive as a collector for a loan shark, but these kinds of behaviors permeate his everyday life. When he gets angry at anyone or anything in the movie, he acts out with excessive violence. He can be found beating up lockers, doors, and even animal carcasses throughout the movie. Polly is another man in the movie that displays this feature of masculinity. When he gets angry at either Rocky or Adrian, he starts to be outwardly violent. When he felt like Adrian was developing her own voice, he started destroying furniture and threatening the couple with a baseball bat. Nationalism. Not only is America seen as a masculine country, but it was built and founded by men. So although being a nationalistic alone is not a masculine trait, it seems to be used to prove a man's masculinity and strength in the movie many times. Rocky is seen as a metaphor for America. He is Italian like Columbus. He is also pursuing the American dream by competing in and winning the heavyweight championship. Apollo, the reigning heavyweight champion, quite frequently references America's mantra of being the land of opportunity. Furthermore, when he tries to gain likability, he says that he is proud of being an American. Also, Apollo's walkout song is Yankee Doodle, and he comes out dressed as Christopher Columbus crossing the sea, escorted by two statues of liberty, and is dressed in all red, white, and blue during the actual fight. Repression of emotions. For many men, being emotional can be seen as a weakness in character. For this reason, men today tend to repress what they feel and aren't great at explaining their emotions. Rocky lies about being upset at the press conference in front of Polly, but later tells Adrian how he truly feels. He is also unable to articulate that he likes Adrian, simply calling